Hey guys, so welcome to my skincare conundrum series where I talk about common skincare problems that you guys have, such as maskne, which I've previously made a video about, bacne, fungal acne, and keratosis pilaris, which is this video is all about. So stay tuned till the end to know everything that you need to know about keratosis pilaris, because this is a particular skin condition that I personally faced during my teenage years and I am still facing now. So I have years of experience to talk to you guys about, and I hope that will help you guys out a lot. In this video, we are going to talk about common questions like what is keratosis pilaris or KP, what causes this skin condition, what are the treatments, and I'll also be giving you a checklist of ingredient list to look for, and I'll also be sharing you guys with my personal experience and my bonus tip, which includes the use of lactic acid for your body, how you can use it, and also a miracle product that will take care of the red situation or red inflamed keratosis pilaris in seconds. And lastly, I'm going to go with a couple of product recommendations that I personally use and some of the products that might help you. Hey guys, so if you are seeing this face for the very first time, hi, I'm Moitri Haldar. I do post a lot of skincare content such as this, mixed with a couple of contents that I really like. So if you are into that genre, then do consider subscribing and hitting on that bell notification to get notified every time I upload. And do not forget to follow me in my social media accounts where I'm the most active, and you also get to be a part of what goes into my video, especially my Instagram, because every Saturday I do come live and answer back to all of your skincare queries. The link to all of them would be in the description box, and the products that I mentioned all throughout the video, including some of the video references that I put, will all be listed in the bottom box below as usual. Coming to the very first question, what is keratosis pilaris or KP? The medical term of this particular skin condition is follicular keratosis. It's mainly caused by the buildup of dead skin cells plugging the hair follicles, resulting in rough and bumpy patches, sometimes followed by red or brown colored patches. It can occur to any part of your body, but the most common are your hands, your feet, your buttocks, your thighs, your face, and sometimes even your back or your neck. These tiny bumps, while they do not itch or sting, but they do affect your overall self-conscious. That is exactly what it did to me. It is particularly a dry skin condition, and it gets worsened in the winters or in the drier climates, and especially during pregnancy. It is not contagious, but it does falls under the chronic disease because there is no cure of keratosis pilaris, but there are treatments to subdue it and keep it in check. Now, genetics does plays a very important role in your KP. So when do people usually get KP or keratosis pilaris? Now, you can get KP almost any part of your life, the most common being the children or teenager, and it can get either better when you age or even worse when you age. Coming to the question, what exactly causes keratosis pilaris? Now, there is no exact known cause of keratosis pilaris. As I've said, genetics does plays a very important role in dictating whether you will develop KP or whether will you get KP or not. But the main reason, apart from dead skin cells, you also have a buildup of keratin, which is a hair protein, and both the dead skin cells and keratin blocks the pores and also blocks the opening of the hair growth follicles. As a result, you get a bumpy skin. It is a very similar skin condition if you have a lot of ingrown hair problems. So some people might confuse keratosis pilaris with ingrown hair or vice versa. Now that was all about KP, when you get it, what causes it. Now coming on to the main part, what is the treatment of KP? So people have not found a proper cure of this particular skin condition, but by following the step that I'm going to mention, you can keep your keratosis pilaris at check. Now for treatment, you need to understand two most important terms, that is exfoliation and moisturization. These two should be your guidelines to treating any kind of KP that you have. You first need to exfoliate properly and moisturize the heck out of it. Coming to the first point, which is to use the mild cleanser both for your body and for your face. So for your body, using products that will not strip your skin, such as a soap-free body wash or sulfate-free body wash or even glycerin soaps, because sometimes body washes can be expensive, but if you have a budget to only afford soaps, then you can go ahead and pretty much buy any kind of glycerin soaps that are available. If you have KP on your face, look for milder surfactants in your cleanser. I have made a top 5 cleansers in India video, which you can check it in the bottom box below. Because this is a dry skin condition, look for cleanser which does not has any SLS, SLES, which might potentially dry out your skin further, and use products which are soap free or they have very mild and gentle surfactants. And by doing couple of these steps on your cleansing routine will not only help in your KP but also make your skin barrier function much more better. Coming to the next part, BHA. BHA infused face washes or body washes. BHA has a very important property of cleansing out those pores. The next most important point is exfoliation and a proper exfoliation. Now, physical exfoliation is the route that people might often take because it is the most cheapest option available in the market. But especially if you have a lot of inflamed KP, physical exfoliation will make the situation worse by giving you a lot of hyperpigmentation. Because your skin is already irritated, if you create an extra kind of abrasion, your skin will freak out. It will not only harm your skin barrier but also trigger the melanocytes and will produce more pigmentation, which does takes a lot of time to go. So you are left with not only KP but also pigmentation. So I will suggest you guys to invest in chemical exfoliation, not only for your face but for your body. But for chemical exfoliation, look for products that have a very low concentration. So look for exfoliating products such as body wash, body lotions, treatments, or any kind of other leave-on or peel-off stuff that are very low and gentle concentration. Now coming to treatments. Now treatments are this food source for your skin, either for your face or for your body. So look for stuff like lactic acid or any kind of AHAs such as mandelic acid, and even BHAs like salicylic acid, and even LHAs. You can also look upon to niacinamide for calming down your skin, and also retinoids can sometimes help. The next tip is the most important tip in the list. Because this particular KP is a dry skin condition, you need to moisturize the heck out of it. So as soon as you wash your face or you step out of the shower, do apply a thick layer of moisturizer. Choose a moisturizer according to your skin needs. Even if your skin is dry, even if your skin is oily, even if your skin is normal, you need to choose a moisturizer according to your skin needs. Again, I have done a whole entire video regarding best moisturizer in India. You can check it in the bottom box below. But for body, what I will recommend is that choosing any kind of body butters or body lotions that does contains a little bit of vitamin E or any kind of body nourishers such as niacinamide or any kind of extracts that might soothe and calm your skin while giving you an occlusiveness and also at the same time softening your skin. You can also use a couple of oils such as jojoba oil or tamanu oil or any kind of oil that has moisturizing properties, because it will form an occlusiveness on top of your skin and will prevent that epidermal water loss. In my previous KP video, which I made like 2 to 3 years back, you can see in the bottom box below of using coconut oil and aloe vera gel, which I keep in my jar. This particular coconut oil has a very bad tendency of being comedogenic, so people who have a lot of comedone problems might want to skip coconut oil altogether. But my father, on the other hand, who is of a dry skin and has psoriasis, does like his coconut oil. If you are choosing any kind of coconut oil, I will prefer you guys to choose the virgin coconut oil, which does has a lot less pungent fragrance of coconuts and also is pretty much lighter to your skin. And lastly, coming on to skin barrier, you need to protect and restore your skin barrier because sometimes KP can damage your skin barrier, so you need to provide it good nutrients in form of niacinamide or moisturizer, ceramides that will protect your skin barrier and help you guys to restore it. Coming on to couple of ingredients checklist to look for on your products, especially when you have KP. So look for AHAs such as lactic acid, mandelic acid, or even glycolic acid. BHAs like salicylic acid. Even you can try LHAs, which is a new rage of the town. You can also look for urea based product because it is a very excellent form of moisturizing factor, especially if you get a lot of prescribed medicines, because urea is the predominant moisturizing factor in those moisturizers. You can also look for retinoids in terms of clearing out those bumpy texture, but it is something that you might consult dermat with. And skin barrier friendly ingredients like ceramides, peptides, niacinamide, and also humectants like hyaluronic acid, glycerin are all the amazing ingredients that you should look upon your products that you are going to use on your KP skin. Now coming on to the most exciting part of the video, at least for me, is my personal experience and my bonus tip. Now for personal experience, I want to keep it very brief and short. I suffered from KP from an age of 12 years maybe or even 11 years. I was very self-conscious self-conscious, and I had the majority part of it all over my body. So I had it on my legs, my arms, my thighs, everywhere. So I was really self-conscious. I was never able to wear those short skirts in the school, so I used to wear those black tights even in the summer underneath my skirt to not make me feel that self-conscious. I was really it was really sad growing up. I was always emphasized on skincare, at least from the age of 12. I would rather get a face wash, or I will rather steal a face wash or any kind of skincare products from the elders rather than makeup. So when I get to the age of 15, I knew that my skin condition was not normal, and I started to Google it, and by the age of 16 or 17, I came into a fact that I had keratosis pilaris, and since then I have consulted 17 doctors and none of them were able to help me out. So these are my couple of bonus tips that did help me out in clearing 90% of my keratosis pilaris. I do not have any kind of keratosis pilaris on my arms, on my backs, on my chest, on my legs, but I do have a little bit of inflamed skin around the thigh areas, so that gets really red and flared up. So coming on to my first tip, because I do not have facial KP, this is a tip especially if you have a body KP. Now I use natural loofah instead of those plastic ones or nylon ones. This loofah is antibacterial, so not only you are saving the money, because the nylon ones will cost you somewhere between 200 to 1000 rupees, but this cheap of a thing will cost you 5 to 20 rupees. You get like 4 pieces out of the long thingy that you get if every time you want to buy a natural loofah. So it is more economical and also environmental friendly, because the normal loofah you need to toss it every 2 months because that bacteria does get built up and can worsen your skin barrier. So the tip that I wanted to mention is that do not use any kind of loofah every single day, because every single day you are giving it some form of exfoliation to your body, so that is not exactly great when you have KP. So limiting your loofah usage to about like 2 to 3 times a week, just as you will treat your exfoliation. So for example, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays you will do exfoliation, the physical one, the loofah one, just do it gently, and on the other days you can use the other forms of exfoliating acids that you are using. So that will make sure that your skin is not flared up and you are also exfoliating those dead skin cells and keratin. Now coming on to one of the underrated routines or underrated steps of routines, that is toning. Now toning is very important for my face and my body. I do tone my body, so I keep it in this foaming bottle container that is a reminiscence of an old face wash, and I use a mixture of rose water mixed with a little bit of aloe vera gel, and rose water does balances out your pH, so it's really great for your skin barrier. And toning is something that I have recently incorporated, I think 6 months to 7 months back, and it has been helping my skin a lot, making it less bumpy and less textured, especially for my body, because I do not have any kind of textured skin on my face, at least majority part of my face, but in my body I do get a lot of texture. So this toning method has helped me a lot, and this is a K-beauty tip, or at least I got it from a Korean beauty channel, that by using your toner in a foaming bottle will not only help in the spreadability of your toner but also make it absorb faster. Coming on to my lactic acid mixed with body moisturizer. Now this is a lactic acid from Minimalist. I do not use it a lot in my face. I use it sometimes, but especially I like it for my body. This is my second bottle, and I mix it with a little bit of moisturizer, body moisturizer specifically. I mix about like 2 to 3 drops with moisturizer every part of my body, so that will make sure you have a buffering agent for your lactic acid, because lactic acid is an AHA and can sometimes trigger the melanocytes. It helps not only with the textured skin but also with ingrown hairs and also keratosis pilaris. Now coming to dry brushing. Now dry brushing is a step that has been incorporated in my ritual for, I will say, 2 years maybe, and dry brushing has helped me a lot, and dry brushing has personally helped me a lot, not only for my KP but also for my ingrown hair situation. But dry brushing is not for everyone. I have done a complete guide of dry brushing, which you can check it in the bottom box below. But dry brushing is something that can possibly either worsen the KP or can make your KP better for good. It's a form of physical exfoliation that I do every single day, but on the winters I tend to skip it and do it every alternate days or 2 to 3 times a week. Dry brushing will also make sure that you have a proper lymphatic drainage, and it also has a bunch of different properties that I mentioned in my dry brushing video. Following it up with the next part, which is hair removal. Now hair removal, especially when you have KP, is really important because you already have KP, and every time you do any kind of hair removal process, your skin barrier is getting fractured, or you have a lot of ingrown hair problems, especially when you have KP, because those keratins and dead skin cells are building up. So every time you shave, you first need to exfoliate your skin, then use any kind of shaving cream, shaving foam, or any kind of conditioners. I personally do not use any kind of conditioner because it can sometimes react with my skin, to basically create a barrier in between your razor and your skin so that you do not irritate your skin barrier too much. I would suggest you investing in a face razor such as this one. I will link it in the bottom box below. You need to invest in a face razor, a proper face razor, to remove those peach fuzz or any kind of facial hair that you have, because if you use men's razor or women's razor, either you won't get a clean shave or some people might get cut. So this also does comes with a cap, and every time you do any kind of facial shaving, you need to sanitize it properly, either by washing or dipping it in an alcohol solution. Lastly, coming on to my bonus tip, diaper rash cream. So diaper rash cream, it's a very funny story. Now when my nephew was born, so he had diaper rash cream because he had a lot of diaper rashes. Every baby does. But I was at the age of, I think, 12 or 13 years old, and I did had a lot of red inflamed KP all over my body. What I one day did is that I took a little bit of his diaper cream because my body lotion was run out, and I applied it on the KP areas, and suddenly the redness was actually gone. It didn't do anything for my bumpy skin or keratosis pilaris, but for the redness, diaper cream is the best thing that you should invest in. Now this is a personal tip. Some people might get offended, some people won't get any benefit, but for me, diaper cream works and works great. And I have not found any kind of researched back why diaper cream is great for keratosis pilaris. So this is a personal KP tip for me, and you won't get any kind of side effects because this is meant for babies and our skin is much more worse than babies. So following it up with the product recommendation, or the fun part. So coming on to body wash that I recommend, this is from Petal Fresh. I love this brand. It is not sponsored. Any kind of videos that I do till now is not sponsored, but this brand is amazing. Not only their body washes is so free, but it's also sulfate free, it's paraben free, phthalates free, it's gluten free, it's no colors are added, it's vegan, it's sustainably sourced, and also it's cruelty free. So I love this product, especially this particular variant, which is rose and honeysuckle. Oh my god, I love this fragrance for my body. It doesn't give me any kind of strippy feeling. Now coming on to facial cleanser, I have already done a video which you can check it in the bottom box below, but the cleanser I really wanted to recommend is this one. It is from Cleanse Me. It is my recent find, and it is the most gentle cleanser that I have ever used. It not only cleanses your skin, it doesn't foams up, but it is really great if you have a lot of inflamed KP, especially in the face, because sometimes it can get flared up due to some other face washes, but this one has colloidal oats which will take care of that, and also allantoin, and it's amazing and also affordable. Coming on to couple of body lotions. Now moisturizers for face, I have already done a video, but for moisturizer for your body, I do have 3 recommendations. The first one is from Dermafique. This is their Aqua Cloud Hydrating Cream, whose body skin is normal and not at all dry, but dry skin people might get a little bit of moisturization from this, but not that much, and it is even safe enough for you to use on your face. Coming on to the next body butter recommendation, this is again from Petal Fresh. I love this brand. This is my second tub. This is their hibiscus and papaya. I love this fragrance. I love this variant. It's almost finished. I do have a little bit of tiny thing left which might go onto my hands. This is the most amazing body butter that I have found. The Body Shop body butters are too oily for my skin, so I really like this. It will not only give you that moisturization without feeling any kind of greasy or oily. Coming on to my recent find, this is again from Dermafique. This is their Aqua Surge Body Serum. It has a name of body serum, but it is a body lotion. I will say it is a oily to normal skin type kind of a body moisturizer, and this is a very affordable option too. Coming on to a couple of toner recommendation. This is a facial toner from Thua. This is the 5% vitamin C water, which does have AHAs and BHAs, and it is amazing for your face for a mild exfoliation if you are looking into one. And if you are not looking into exfoliating toners and want a simple basic toner, this is a rose water, which is a steam distilled one. It is from a brand called Pure Rust, and I love this rose water. It's almost finished. I do have a little bit of left, and it is amazing for your face. I use it as a makeup setting spray, and I also use a plain simple rose water, which is really affordable for my body too. Now, Bapchi oil is something that my father uses, and I also like it too. Bapchi oil or Bakuchi oil is an alternative to retinoid, but it is something that has a lot of wound healing properties, so it is a really great idea for you to mix your Bapchi oil with a little bit of body lotion to get a lot of wound healing and skin barrier friendly ingredient type of cream. Coming to couple of treatments, you can use retinoids. This is from Dot & Key. You can also use the minimalist retinoid. I have using it on my face. It is amazing. Also, this niacinamide 5% from Minimalist is amazing as a facial serum, and it also works great on your body too. Coming on to couple of HAs and BHAs, this is lactic acid 10% from Minimalist. I use it for my body especially. This is an amazing affordable serum. And also this one from Cosrx that I use for my face. This is the BHA Power Liquid Solution. I have a full review of this, and all the reviews and the links would be in the description box below. I am also currently trying the Rovectin LHA Blemish Ampule, and it is amazing for my face, and the review is coming up shortly. Coming to couple of shaving recommendations, so these two are from Bombay Shaving Company. This is the turmeric shaving foam, and it comes in a foaming container which foams up really nicely and goes really well for my skin. And next is the shaving cream. It is a little bit harder to pump out the product, but overall it's a great shaving cream. If you are curious about my razor, this one is from Bombay Shaving Company again. This is their Defender for women, I guess. This particular head is my favorite. It gives me the cleanest shave possible from a razor. And lastly, for my bonus tip, these are the two rash creams that I'm currently using. This one is from Cetaphil. I have used this for years, and this one is a recent find from Schmitten. This is from a company called Mommy Pure. I may be wrong, but this is their diaper rash cream. This doesn't has fragrance, but Cetaphil one has fragrance, I guess. Cetaphil one has a very heavy texture, but this one has a very creamy and body buttery kind of texture. After I finish this, I'm going to switch on to this one. So these two are the rash creams that I am currently using. Coming to a couple of BHA infused face washes, I do have a recommendation. It's from Kaya. It's the most cheapest affordable variant that I could find. You can also try the HA face wash from Requel. This is also pretty great. And from body washes, I have not still find out a decent one. So if you find out, let me know in the comment box below. Also, let me know how you feel about this video. Give a like if you like my content and you want to see more skincare content such as this one. Share this video to anyone who is suffering from KP and want to improve their situation. And lastly, subscribe to my channel, hit on that bell notification, and I'll see you in the next video, which is a brand review of Olly, because that brand is recently popping up and I do have some thoughts to share. So bye bye and take care.